Yeah. Is this Lex? It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. Baby. Shout out to Steve Stout. He was on the Joe Budden Podcast. Ice Queens Flip, Parks, Joe Budden, Melissa Ford. They were speaking about the Drake dance music. Shout out to Ish. Because y'all see why we call Drake the international merchant of hip-hop. Y'all was getting on his ass in the They Not Like Us music video with the shipping containers. Sound like he went overseas with his wifey. They out there bumping the Drake and Gordo season. No, y'all. He was talking about the Honestly Nevermind album. Remember when Drake made a whole dance album? People at Ish was saying, peep this, America.
This will try to pivot and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that to try and capture other demos.
Yeah.
In their target demo shits on them for doing that. When Drake did that album, and it's funny because when I was away, I meant to bring this up on the main pod. When I was away,
you in Europe?
I was in Saint Tropez.
Yeah, and they were playing the dance.
And they were playing that fucking dance record,
the Gordo joint.
Yeah.
Like, yo, dog, they were playing all of that shit. And I was like, yo, it hit me. I turned to my girl and I was like, this is the shit that they was dissing on the pod because the world is bigger than urban America.
Don't say that.
You get what I'm saying?
But I like
we
that
picked
shit.
that record up.
I told niggas that
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the Drake album, that
Honestly,
dance
Nevermind.
album that he did.
Yeah.
Like, dog, that is the sound that is coming from around the world. And because Drake is a global artist, he sees that. Whereas a kid in Watts or Detroit or Harlem may not understand that demo.
There's ways to do that. There's ways to do that that are within reason without stretching and going so far away from your fan base.
Gotcha.
In order to do that. Everybody's done it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by the way. It's not
No. He
No.
did it. He and
that
Beyonce
was an
did
extreme thing, but I mean when Jay made the record with Punjabi MC, right? I don't even know if you fuck with that, but that was an Indian artist that he did the collaborate, and that shit went crazy all around the world. And nobody shitted on him for making that record. So that it's not like you can't do it. The other thing is if you have credibility, you could use it. It's when you start doing that shit so early, you ain't got no credibility. You jump out the window immediately. You want instant gratification. As soon as you get on, you fucking run trying to do some dumbass shit and play yourself.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
True.
You're not even trying to like feed your core fan base and build it and then, grow it over time. You just
no balance.
Running about it.
When we talking about dance music, remember EDM was the only art form that I seen that rivaled hip hop in terms of dominance. Y'all remember 2012, 2013 when EDM came out? When you talking about Skrillex, Deadmau5, Major Lazer, that whole movement, when you see 200,000 people at the festivals, that is what we're talking about. Drake, Beyonce, they took a shift in their sonic direction and they put out whole albums with dance music, and a lot of y'all was flaming the Honestly Nevermind album. And I'm gonna keep it a beam with y'all. That is a great album. Some of the flows that Drake had on there, I never heard no melodies like that yet. No melodies like that in music. That might not be for what we would consider the typical demographic. It's really what people got ears for. Them people that be going on vacation in Ibiza, they partying with the exotics. You out there with the exotic people having a great time. You fist pumping the night away. And that Drake, Honestly Never. Oh, whoa, what is that? Then that Gordo season come on. Yeah, just my turn. You like what? And that's what we saying when we call Drake the international merchant of hip-hop. And this is important because music, the sonic landscape is changing. Drake, he'll make songs in Spanish, and we got to understand, music is a universal language. People speak English on both hemispheres of the world. People also speak Spanish in both hemispheres of the world. So when you're talking about just English and when you start speaking different dialects, you make different music, and that really exposes you to a whole new crowd of people. You got people where Spanish might be their first language. They bop to a different tempo of music naturally. Sometimes it might be more fast-paced. And of course, you got some great, amazing artists, that Latin music artists, they make music on a slow tempo, of course. We don't want to just say it's fast tempo. They're typically, when you hear dance music, it's at a faster tempo. So those people that might speak different languages, when they hear that Drake come on, when they hear the different sounds, they like, yo, what is that? Y'all listen, I'm gonna tell y'all an interesting story. I was talking to a tourist earlier last week, and I was like, yo, what do you think about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing? There was this lady from Luxembourg. It's this country in Europe. Yo, she had no idea that Drake and Kendrick Lamar was going at it. I'm speaking to this lady from Luxembourg. She don't know nothing about that Drake and Kendrick. Nothing. But you already know when she go on vacation in the summertime, you know she might hear that Beyonce dance album, and then the DJ might cut it in with some Steve Aoki or some David Guetta, and then that Drake Honestly Nevermind album come on. And keep in mind, y'all, she has no idea that Drake and Kendrick Lamar is going at it. There's multiple perspectives on this, and of course, it's expanding the perspective is always great. So when I heard Ish mention, hey, there's different demographics expanding outside of the urban music market, then you heard Steve Stout mention Jay-Z. Jay-Z, he had the Big Pimpin'. That was a very exotic universal record, right? At the same time, Jay-Z got more records like that. When it comes to music, just being music, the universal language, when you are actually rapping a whole different song, a whole different verse, a verse in a whole new language, that opens you up to a whole new fan base, if we're being honest, right? Because people is like, yo, this person is speaking my language. When we're talking about Drake, remember when Drake said on Push-Ups, he said, you can get booked outside America for nan. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan. Drake was flexing his international muscles. When we talking about what's going on over there in Europe, of course, hip hop and rap is universal, but there's some people that they'll listen to music at just a faster tempo. When you start doing that with hip hop, it begins to sound a bit alternative anyway. Ish made a great point, and that's why when it comes to even the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, there's not really no way that any of them can lose if we being for real. The other day, Drake, he has like a 1 album deal with a Latin music band. I can't remember their name at this time. He has a deal with them. That allows him to network in a whole different market. People that don't, where Spanish is their first language, they're gonna politic in those areas. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Y'all let me know if is Ish wildin'? Is Drake wildin'? Is Steve Stout wildin'? Who's wildin' here? Am I wildin'? Make sure y'all let me know in the comments. It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. Yeah.